The car that pulls up to take your daughter to school has no steering wheel. Nobody in the house finds that strange, least of all her, and here is the part that should stop you cold. In 2026, machines exactly like it were already giving 500,000 paid rides every single week in 10 American cities to ordinary people who had stopped thinking about it. You are not looking at science fiction. You are looking at a Tuesday. This is the year 2050. Not a distant century, not a fantasy, and not a guess about magic that has not been invented yet. It is 24 years from the morning you are living in right now. Close enough that the people who will fill this world are already alive, already in your house, already asking you for a ride to school. 24 years. That is the entire distance between today and everything you are about to walk through, and it is worth sitting with how short that really is. Go 24 years backward from 2026 instead. No smartphone in anyone's pocket. Nobody had ever streamed a film. The map on your dashboard came folded in the glove box. A jump exactly that size forward lands you in this kitchen.
You step outside into a city that holds more of humanity than any city in any generation before yours. The United Nations projected that by 2050, 68% of every human being alive would be living in one. And notice that this is not a prediction about technology at all. It is a straight line drawn through where people were already moving, in your own lifetime, for reasons that had nothing to do with robots. The future is mostly urban, and that part was already decided.
And this city is quieter than the one you remember waking up in. The traffic does not honk, because most of it is not being driven by anyone with a temper. The air over the rooftops is clean enough that you can see the hills on an ordinary day, because the power running underneath the streets stopped burning things to exist. 3 unremarkable changes, each one boring on its own. Together they quietly rewrote what a morning sounds like. Back inside, something is folding the laundry. It is roughly your height, it moves without any drama at all, and your daughter has genuinely never known a house that did not have one somewhere in it. To you, it still registers faintly as remarkable, the way a dishwasher once did to somebody. To her, it is furniture that walks. But the story of how that machine got out of a factory and into your hallway is far stranger than the machine itself. Because in 2026, these machines were not in anybody's home. They were in warehouses doing the dullest work available. A humanoid called Figure 02 spent 11 months on a real BMW assembly line in South Carolina, logging more than 1,200 operating hours and moving over 90,000 sheet metal parts. Another one, called Digit, passed 65,000 operating hours across 9 different customer sites. No stage, no demo reel, just hours. That is always how it starts. 90,000 parts. Not a launch video, not a founder on a stage promising you next year. An actual repetitive job, done for 11 straight months without a person doing it. And here is the quiet lesson buried in that number. The companies loudly promising a robot in your living room got almost all of the attention that year. The ones patiently stacking up boring hours in warehouses are the ones whose descendants ended up in your hallway. You walk your daughter out to the curb. The car has already arrived, and it is completely empty. No driver, no wheel, no pedals, no one to thank. She climbs in the way you once climbed onto a school bus, which is to say without once looking up from whatever she is holding. And the entire quiet miracle of it costs her roughly what a bus pass cost you, which is the detail that actually changed the world. Here is the line that made all of that ordinary. In May of 2024, one company was giving about 50,000 driverless rides a week. By March of 2026, that same number was 500,000 across 10 American cities, from a fleet of just over 3,000 cars. 10 times bigger in under 2 years. Nothing on that curve required a miracle or a breakthrough or a genius. It only required that it not stop. And that is the pattern hiding underneath this entire day. Almost nothing you are walking through required a breakthrough that had not already happened. It required a small handful of working things to keep compounding quietly for 24 years, while everybody loudly argued about whether they ever would. The future is very rarely invented. Most of the time, it is simply continued. By the middle of the day, the roofs are doing the work. Almost every surface in this city that faces the sun is generating something, and the batteries sitting underneath the buildings spend the afternoon swallowing the excess, so that the evening has something to spend. Electricity in 2050 is not free, but at certain hours of certain days, it gets close enough that nobody in the house bothers to check before running anything. And that began squarely on your watch. In 2025 alone, the world installed 605 gigawatts of new solar. It was the 23rd year in a row that renewables set a brand new record, and solar generation had already more than doubled since 2022, passing 8% of every unit of electricity on Earth. The cheapest energy in human history was still, somehow, getting cheaper every single year. The mechanism underneath it is almost insulting in how simple it is. Sunlight lands on a panel that costs a small fraction of what the same panel cost when you were young. A battery holds that energy until the sun goes down. And a grid that was built for a century around burning something on demand gets slowly rebuilt around storing something instead. 3 steps, 24 years, an entirely different sky. Your own appointment that afternoon is less with a doctor than with a factory. The medicine being made for you is written against your particular genome, aimed at your particular mutation, and not one other person on this planet will ever take a dose of it. In 2026, that had happened exactly once, for one baby, and it was almost certainly the most underrated news story of the entire decade. His name was KJ. He was born with a rare liver disorder that his body had no real way to survive on its own. A team in Philadelphia designed a gene editing therapy aimed squarely at his exact mutation, got it cleared, and dosed him in roughly 6 months start to finish. A year later he was walking and talking. One child, one bespoke medicine. One proof that the thing could be done at all. On the way home you pass someone moving a screen without touching it. It is not a party trick, and it is not an implant she bought. It is a medical device, a small mesh sitting inside a blood vessel right beside her motor cortex, reading intention, and it was placed there without anybody ever opening her skull. In 2026, 6 people had already lived with one for a full year with no device-related serious problems at all. And still, hold this entire day up against the one you are actually living right now, and the differences are so much smaller than you would ever expect them to be. The machines got quieter, the power got cheaper, the medicine got personal, the driving stopped being yours, and underneath every bit of it your daughter still forgot her lunch, still argued about bedtime, and still needed you to say something true to her when the day went badly. There is one more change, and it is the one that never makes it into the brochure. 2050 is old. In the United States, the share of people over 65 was projected to climb from roughly 18% to 23%. In Europe, from 21 up to 29%. Every gleaming thing in this day was built by, and increasingly built for, a population greyer than any that has ever existed. So no, it is not a paradise. It is a world with cleaner air and older bones, cheaper power and harder questions. Medicine written for one single person, and a long, ugly argument about who is going to be able to afford it, which is exactly what makes it a real place instead of a brochure. And your kids are going to have to live in it. Next time we go much further out, to the year 2100, and the first full century of the long life era. Subscribe so that you are here when we do, and the other mechanics channels are all linked down in the description if you want the same treatment applied to money, to empires, and to mastery. Because your kids are not going to inherit the future. They are going to inherit whatever the next 24 years actually build. Walk into tomorrow with us.